We're going to go right ahead and just call this Peace, Love, and Idol Cleavage Edition. Maybe that'll get some comments. Welcome everybody to another thrilling installment of Peace, Love, and Idol. We are down to the top 9, and tonight we'll be subjected, in some cases, to Songs of the Idols, where the contestants will pick an idol of theirs and perform one of their songs. Also found out from Ryan that they're going to be sucking up the 2 hours with trios that mean nothing. And it's at this point where they should really chop it down to an hour and a half, have them sing, and let's get it together. So, the show opened up with another overly dramatic footage piece of the journey, and a really terrible, it must have been a more recent Stevie Nicks rendition of Landslide. Should we just went with the original? She's getting up there, and the voice is suffering. Yeah, really, it's been a good week. I got over my anger from my last video, and I'm just going in as a blank slate tonight. I did wear the cleavage shirt in hopes that Colton would watch my video. I've been tweet stalking him all week. Come to find out that he's like super religious and got me all in tears over his love of God, and he's probably completely offended by me. So if he hasn't yet blocked me, I think I better tweet him an apology. So they open the show with a overall fashion consultation with Tommy Hilfiger, which I fast forwarded because, as we learned last week, I am not a fan. He is quite irritating and borderline rude, so I didn't care. I didn't see that he did much of anything to anyone except chop Erica's hair off, and subsequently she's stuck with that hair now. So, yes, we also learned that Stevie Nicks is the mentor, which is awesome. I mean, she's got staying power. And it was cool to see videos of Jimmy Iovine dancing like a tool, because he is a tool. And first up was my boo-boo, Colton, and now it's just like, he went first, what do I have to look forward to? So we find out that his idol is Lifehouse, and I was first like, whose idol is Lifehouse? Like, really? Like, I saw them last spring, and they were really good live. Like, they definitely, I like a couple of their songs. They definitely made me believe it, but like I never met anyone who was like, yo, my ultimate idol was Lifehouse. I kind of feel like, if this is off base, Idol Insiders, like they're given a list of people and they have to pick like the closest thing to their idol. Because if I like marched in there and was like, Beth Hart is my idol, they would be like, no, like pick off this list. So then I'd pick someone awesome, but still, I don't think you can pick anyone. And then he says he's picking a song called Everything, and it's his favorite worship song, and my heart broke a little bit to know that A, we'll never be together because he loves religion, and 2, that that's just so cute. And also that I offended him, and I really need to apologize. So, yes, he sings the song. The beginning was a little rough for me, the slow part. It was kind of boring. It just was. But when I got to the rocking part, I really did enjoy it. There was a couple pitch issues, but I feel like, I feel like it's because he was so emotional. And if you're a singer, you know it's like damn near impossible to sing well and cry. And that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was that emotional. He makes any song believable. And I love the emotion that he brings to it. It was like by no means the greatest vocal on the planet, but there's something to be said about someone who knows their voice, knows what they can do. They don't try to kill you with, vocal drama, and just feels it. So I love him. I just think he's a great performer, and I would definitely pay to see him play in no doubt about it. Judges were into it. Randy said that he could see him in the end. I mean, he wants to win it, no doubt. Stephen called him pitch perfect. He's gonna disagree with that when he watches it back because there definitely were a few notes that were a mess, but all in all, great performance. I gave it a 4.5. If his performance sucked, it would have been a 4 vocally, but just the way he performs just like made it, I think, that half a point more. So 4.5 for my Colton to start things off, and I really don't know what's in store for us. I don't know that I can take too many more weeks though of like America being retarded. I caught a lot of flack for calling America tone deaf crack whores, and to those people I want to say, go fuck yourself, because you're probably a huge fan. Anyway, that was Colton. Let's see what we have in store. Alright, so next up was Skylar Lane, and she chose Miranda Lambert as her idol. She's awesome, because she's my favorite country singer as well. And she chose Gunpowder and Lead, which is like a fucking killer, upbeat, up-tempo. What I love about her, as opposed to like Lauren Elena last year, is like she picked sleepy country ballads and made me want to kill myself. And when she did an up-tempo number, it was just not believable. This girl kicks some major country ass. She sounded so good in the rehearsal. I thought it was Miranda Lambert. So good. What did I say? She rocked the shit out of it. Like it was not like Idol. It was like you were watching a performance on like an award show. I just thought it was awesome. I mean, it wasn't like the fanciest vocal or anything like that, but it was accurate. It was rocking. She used the stage. It's believable. It's genuine, and she's a fucking spitfire, and I love her. So glad of all the country girls, she made it. So I'd be throwing more things at the TV if she didn't. I really don't have too much to say about this. I thought it was great, and I gave it a 4.75. I mean, the only thing that could have made it a 5 for me is if it just showed a little bit more of her actual like voice. It's not like a huge like I am a great singer song, but it is an attitude song, and I love attitude songs. So go on with your bad self, girl. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. That's all I have to say about that. So real quick, next up was our first trio, and it was Colton, Elise, and Phil. And I thought they were only going to do one song, and then I realized that they were each doing like a little piece of a Stevie Nicks song, they were the soloists and the other ones backup. So it started off with Landslide with Colton singing lead, and it sounded tremendous. The harmonies were great. I thought he sang it so well. Next up was Edge of 17, and Elise sang lead, and it was great, perfect song for her. And then finished up with Don't Stop with Phil on the lead, and although I still don't get him, it was my favorite vocal of his, and the end harmony on the Don't Stop was perfect. I give it a 5. I wish that they could be scored on their trios tonight. It was so good. I'm thoroughly impressed with them and their harmonies. And Phil, I liked you. No guitar, wearing the all black, killing it. Loved it. Just real quick. I know it doesn't make a fuck about the night and you're not voting based on the trios, but I thought it was phenomenal. And I don't see another trio being any better than that. Okay, so this will probably be my longest portion. So after the trio, no commercial, straight to Heat. We all know he's not my favorite. So he picks probably one of my top 20 favorite songs of all time, which now makes me want to do this list. Song for You by Donny Hathaway. Do I believe Donny Hathaway is his idol? No. Again, this is why I feel like they are given a list of songs and having to say that this person is their idol, when maybe really it's just someone whose songs they like. So I have a problem with the overall theme of the show, not Eugene song. So as if I don't judge him hard enough because I just feel he's weak and needs to be gone and that we shouldn't even be hearing from him because he should have left last week, he's singing a song that should only be done to perfection. And that Elliot Yamin, one of my favorite idols of all time, nailed. I don't know if anyone's ever heard the recorded version from his first studio album, because it blows the live version he sang out of the park. It's probably my favorite version. No offense, Donnie, but love this song. So, my meters are in overdrive. So, the rehearsal piece is them stroking his ego and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm not a fan in telling people that they're so good when they need work. It doesn't take a music major, which I never was, to hear that he is the weakest voice. So if what you like in a voice is weakness, then I get it. He needs so much work to ever be on mainstream radio. I'm sorry. You don't hear anyone else, with maybe the exception of Shakira, but that works for her because of the kind of music she sings, whose accent is so prevalent in their singing. He has still trouble with singing the English language. You're not just here, that's just fact. And it's obvious. That being said, I will give him credit in that this was definitely the best performance he's had since the live show started. Hands down. Again, I don't think he should even be here to be singing it, but okay. So it was his best live performance yet. Okay, I'll give you that. But here's a couple main points. One, I just said it. He's still by far the weakest performer in the competition. Even if someone else bombs tonight, let's just say someone bombs, he still should go because that person's just having a fluke night, Secondly, and I can't believe J-Lo even said that she liked his vibrato. His vibrato is so forced. I don't know if he learned vibrato from what he's watching. I don't know. But when your head does this, when you're singing vibrato, no one's head does. My head has never done that once in my life. And I don't want to hear that, it could do that for someone else. You need to do that for vibrato to come out, then you don't. Singing's not for you. Forced. I hate it. I was able to pinpoint that tonight. I don't like his vibrato, and it's very, very forced. That hat was gonna fall off his head. And thirdly, right before they cut to the judges, I literally said out loud to myself, "Don't even stand," and they're all standing. How can I put this in a way that won't be offensive? I don't know why I care about offending people. Standing, it's like giving a gold medal to the worst sprinter because they made it over the finish line, but it was still a minute later than everyone else. It was his best performance, but still in the grand scheme of singing was a low, and they gave him a standing ovation. So this is where people then start to get a false sense of them being good. I honestly don't sit here and say that he sucks to be mean or to hurt feelings, or if you like him, that's great. I have just always, if my daughter wants to sing and she's not good, then we will find a tactful way to tell her only to sing at home or in the shower or at karaoke. We're not going to go traipsing her to American Idol. I was blessed with choir teachers that told people this, and when the quote-unquote good singers were off their game, they told them that. I struggled with sight reading and like pitch for like spot on matching pitch in high school. Did she tell me that? Yes, she did, and I worked my ass off. I just think I know I'm talking way too long about Heejun, but I just giving him a standing ovation just I think in the end only hurts him. You know? If it was standing ovation worthy if he like came out and like with a new voice, that was fine. That would be fine, but like awarding the best performance of a crappy person is still counterproductive. So anyway, I struggled with this, but the fact that the things that I don't like about his voice are just too much for me to enter him into a 4. So I gave him a 3.75, which is actually a lot better because I think I was giving him 3s. I think 3 is the most he's gotten from me and it should have been much lower. But I still think he needs to go unless someone like has a stroke. He's just weak. It's just not fair. It's just your weakest, and that's that. I'm gonna shut up now. So next up was Holly, and she surprisingly chose "Jesus Take the Wheel" by Carrie Underwood. Had no idea that she was a big country fan. Maybe she's just a fan of big voices in general. And it's a hard song. No one that's ever tried that since the song came out on Idol has really done it any justice, regardless of how good they are. I mean, the one that's sticking out to me is what's her name? Lakeisha on Jordan Sparks season. Oh, sidebar. Speaking of Jordan Sparks, who knew that Jason Derulo broke his neck? They're an item. I feel bad. I mean, he's cute, he's a nice guy, I like his little catchy songs, but I hate that he says his name in the beginning of every song. So glad that he chose not to do that with his last song. Total sidebar, but I hate those little songwriting contests that they have. It's like, nothing ever comes of those songs. Anyway, back to Holly. So it was a tough song. The rehearsal, it was cool that Stevie let her into a little emotion, but, it definitely sounds like too big of a song for her in rehearsal. And again, for the second week in a row, it just seems like she's lost her swagger. I mean, because she was really doing well there for a while, and she has it in her. She has a great voice, but again, this is another song that just swallowed her up. Last week, it was a combination, maybe, of not knowing the song very well, and just like, arrangement and like big notes, and I don't know if she should like maybe choose a less ambitious song and then make it her own by changing up some of the notes and making them big or something. But when you choose a song that is so flawlessly done, it is very, very difficult to. I mean, she started off ahead of the music. It was clear on her face and in her notes that she was struggling through the second verse. It wasn't great. She's in danger because clearly America is not going to let Heejun go, and she might be in the danger of being in the bottom this week so far from what I've seen, and I don't want to see her go. I really, really don't. I think she's really good. And J-Lo is not helping by telling her that she's so good, and maybe it's just because J-Lo sucks at singing, so she thinks other people that don't do good are good. I don't know. So begrudgingly, I gave that a 3.75, and I really hope that she stays and steps up. We'll see. So next up was DeAndre, and he chose Sometimes I Cry by Eric Benet. And I was just wondering if perhaps he remembered what happened in the top 24 when he chose a song that nobody knows. Right, you needed the judges to wild card you. You had a rough week last week, and now you choose a song that no one knows. So you better sing the pants off of it. That's all I know. And it's obviously like people are not voting, regardless of how he sings these songs they don't like or they don't know. So I was worried for him going into it. rehearsal piece was rehearsal piece. I didn't notice, like, they didn't show us enough of the song, the tempo before, to notice the different tempo that they changed it to. So I liked that he picked mic stand up with his foot. That was interesting. I mentioned this, maybe not last video, maybe the video before. There's like something about his voice in his falsetto that is just like not powerful. It's like he's whispering. It's like you can't hear him over the crowd cheering for him when he sings up there. It like bothers me. It's almost like he's not singing into the microphone. It's like in Sister Act 2 when the kid from City High is singing "Oh Happy Day," and at first he's like, "Oh, oh happy day," and then he gets into it and he sings. Like, I need him to sing down there in his sweet spot, and then just give us a little bit of the falls. I don't need a whole song in the falsetto, because I can't hear you. Like in the studio, they can make that loud and make that good. Live, I cannot hear you. The song was I mean, he sang it beautifully, but everything was accurate. And then there's like the big notes in the falls that he hit that are loud, but like when he's just singing la 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 in his falsetto, for me, I like that to be like the sprinkling, like not the whole thing. I want to hear his low voice. At one point he did a run that ended low. Oh, dude, give me some of your sweet belting voice. But I mean, as far as technically, it was really good. Is Randy wearing a candy necklace? By the way, like runts on it? That's what it looks like. He's wearing a runts necklace. Sidebar, I gave it a 4.5. Although it was really good, the song was semi quasi boring, and I would really like to hear more volume from him. But it was definitely better than. Well, I mean, I didn't have a problem with last week, but I mean, I guess he definitely felt like he was in his niche. I liked last week. I mean, I don't know, call me crazy. You probably will, but 4.5 for DeAndre. Feeling like we're gonna hear another trio coming up soon, and then we still got some good peeps in the wings. Let's see what happens. So next up, was Jessica, and her idol is Beyonce. Should have guessed that. And she chose Sweet Dreams, but she chose to do a slowed down, spooky version. Literally cracked up out loud when she said, "As a kid, I used to try to do her moves. As a kid, last I checked, you're still a kid, sweetheart." Just FYI. At first I had no idea what song it was. I'm not like a huge Beyonce fan, and they didn't tell us. And then when they like said Sweet Dreams and then heard the part, I figured it out. And they spent the whole rehearsal piece talking about this suggestion that Stevie made, and then Jessica saying, "Don't worry, I'm going to do it," and then she didn't do it. So, again, if you're just tuning in for the first time or you live under a rock, my problem with Jessica is I don't connect to her emotionally at all when she sings. It's not that she's not good, there's something about her that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I tried to narrow it down tonight. I liked this better than last week. I was not a huge fan of the note choice she made on Nightmare. Every time in the chorus she went low in a weird, like, quick run. I didn't like it. I thought it sounded out of place. Should have just sang it, the regular melody. I would love to hear her just flat out sing something without runs. Most singers can do runs. A lot of singers can do vocal acrobatics. Do they do it every time they sing? No. Are some of their best songs where they don't do it? Yes. What came to mind for me is someone who I'll never fault for their vocal runs, but because he knows how to use them right. Adam Lambert, of course, probably one of my top 3 favorite male vocalists of all time, space, and universe. Can sing anything. You put a vocal acrobatic in front of him, he'll blow it out the water. What was the most famous song he did on his season of American Idol? Mad World. What did he not do in Mad World? Vocal acrobatics. Did it make everyone cry and want to just rip their faces off from goodness? Yes. Would love to see her have a moment like that where she just strips it away and sings a song without the bullshit. The bullshit is cute. Again, just like with the falsetto and DeAndre. Sprinkle it in. Sing a song here and there that doesn't have it. And then have a couple that you just go to town. But I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. We get it. We get it. You're throaty, you belt, and you have the ability to do runs. Show me something new. Connect to me. I thought this might connect to me emotionally, but it didn't. It didn't. It was better. But I couldn't tell. I was like bordering in between liking it and being a train wreck. I couldn't decide what I thought. She almost fell at the end when she was going through the door, by the way. And all I was wanting her to do was the thing that Stevie suggested her do. I think I had a feeling that the, oh, thank you, is all an act, and that she's a diva, and that she thinks she is perfect already at 16. And again, I will reference her AGT performance, which was far from perfect. You could hear in there that there was an 11-year-old that could sing, but wow, it wasn't good. So clearly she's done something, whether it be lessons or whatever. You're not perfect yet. You're 16 years old. You think you're better than you are. Tone it down. And let's start from scratch here and just sing something. Please, I'm begging you. Because I am about to jump ship on you. Even like in Hollywood or Vegas, I don't remember, when her and DeAndre and that other girl were in that group number was so good. And she did some things, but not so many things. You don't really have an opportunity to do that many things in a group like that. I'd even take that at this point. I did give it a 4.25 because, I mean, there wasn't much wrong with it, really, other than things that I'm just not feeling, you know? I'm frustrated. I'm starting to feel like with Phil with her. I'm just not getting it. But I don't think she's in any danger of going anywhere anytime soon. So next was trio number 2, which consisted of DeAndre, Heejun, and Joshua. And they did a Michael Jackson medley, and it was a little bit different than the first medley. They all sang on all 3 songs, which were Lady in My Life, I believe. Not my favorite Michael Jackson song. Rock With You, and PYT. And, whoa, DeAndre rocking the fedora. I know everyone was, but he looked especially good in it. And it was this trio was a perfect example of how weak Heejun's voice is, just in comparison to those 2 voices. If you can't hear the difference in that, folks, then you're a hopeless cause. DeAndre had some timing issues. He kept coming in late on his entrances to Rock With You and PYT. But in PYT, he was singing in his sweet spot belting voice, and holy balls, loved it. Hope someone tells him, like, you sounded so good. I couldn't even tell it wasn't Joshua. It was so good. Joshua did a moonwalk. It was pretty cool and entertaining. Joshua seemed to be in less of a bad mood. But we'll see when it comes to his solo. And it definitely wasn't perfect, but it was entertaining. And if scores mattered, I would have given it a 4.25. So next up was Philip, and he decided to say, I don't really care who you want me to pick as my idol. I'm picking my real idol. And he went with a Johnny Lang song called It's Still Raining. And Stevie Nicks is like in love with him, and she said that he would have been asked to be in Fleetwood Mac, and she thinks he's hot, and she thinks he's going to be very famous. And it was a very cute and funny rehearsal piece. And I just felt like in the rehearsal piece that if Stevie Nicks is on board, I want to be on board too. And guess what? viewers. I get it now. I get Philip. It was very good. I loved it, loved it, loved it. He rocked it out. He did his thing. He was in his genre. I loved it. Loved the jacket, loved the guitar, loved the yelling, loved the sweating, loved the soul. Oh, it was so good. He needs to do songs like this all the time. I think the problem with him for me was them trying to fit him into, pop songs, and him trying to do it his own way just came off contrived, but guess what? He's not contrived. I get it now. I loved it. I want to watch it back. I think he was great, and I gave it a 5. Can you believe it? I gave Phil a 5. I am a Phil believer. I apologize for not being on board for all of you Phil fans, and I'm so super excited that I now understand where he's coming from. So I hope they let him do blues songs, because I'm a huge blues fan. And I get it. I get it now. I get it now. I'm just so happy. I've seen the light. So it must be fate, because Team Philip Phillips on Twitter, like a bunch of fans of his, for some reason followed me. Maybe because I was like sexually harassing Colton. I don't know. And so I followed them back, and maybe that was just a premonition that I was to understand the wonder that is Philip. So good job. You made a believer out of me. So next up was the last trio of the night, which was Holly, Skylar, and Jessica, and they were doing a Madonna medley. And started off with Like a Prayer, and Jessica just straight sang the opening, and it sounded great. Again, just proved my point that I am brilliant. No, that she needs to just sing. Because when she just sings, then by the end, when she did some ad-libbing over the end of Express Yourself, it sounded so good. The other songs in the medley, oh my god, I didn't even write them down. Like a Prayer, Borderline, and Express Yourself. I thought it was super cute, super sassy, super fun. Everyone sounded great. Loved the little attitude that Skylar was given. Holly sounded really good. Showed us why she's here. I hope she gets it back in her solo performances. I just didn't like the long silver shirt they had on under Skylar's white suit. She looked like she had too much clothes on. But I liked the idea of the suits. But like, at least just put her in black, a longer black shirt if you want her to have something long. Because maybe her chunky bottom just looked too big in the white, which I totally understand. But I really liked it. Woo! I would have given it a 4.5 if scores mattered. Real quick, last up is going to be Elise. And Ryan tells us that she's doing Zeppelin. And I just want to throw it out there. I haven't watched it yet. It's on pause in Mustang commercial after the trio. I really sincerely hope, because I love Elise like dearly, that she's not going to do a whole lot of love. Because Adam Lambert ripped that song 7 new assholes on his season. And if you haven't watched it, or you haven't watched it since then, I will put the fucking link up, because did it better than the original, in my opinion. And 2, the best female version I've ever seen done this was Beth Hart, live from Paradiso, and you'll just never top either of those things for me. That you can also, I'll put that up too, if she decides to do the song. Because she'll do it well, but neither one of there's no way she'll ever meet either one of those performances, ever. On her best day, it'll still come in third, for me. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of what other songs she would be doing. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to stop right there and just hope she's not doing a whole lot of love. We'll see. Check you in a minute. So, last up was Elise Testone, and as I feared, she decided to take on Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. I just, as I mentioned, it's just too, I'm going to put the link, because if you think I'm kidding, it's because I'm crazy in love with Adam Lambert. He does Like, I can't even speak. He does something to that song that it just, no one else can reach it. And then if you want to go with just females, I'm going to put the link to Beth Hart's version. And they have a very similar voice. She has a very similar voice to Beth Hart, and she is like, in my heart. She just, I know Elise has it in her to go for bigger notes. She played it really, really safe. She made some questionable choices to keep notes low. She could have been much more experimental with this. I mean, she rocked it out. She did her thing. There were a couple parts where I felt like she looked a little uncomfortable on stage, like she was trying too hard to like play a role. But I mean, she did her thing. I wasn't a huge fan of the way they decided to arrange it. I like the way they did Adam Lambert's arrangement better. I was hoping she would just do that arrangement like her way, like with the verses and stuff. It just didn't go where that song goes for me with Adam and with Beth. And you watch them, and I would say comment, but no one seems to give a shit about what I asked from them. But you'll see, like, I'm not just bullshitting you. Like, if your mind is not sufficiently blown, then your ice runs through your veins, and I don't know if we can be friends. But she did her thing. I mean, she did her thing. Please do not get me wrong. I liked it, but it's just like you don't do. There's a rule. You don't do a song that another idol slayed. And in this case, don't ever do a song that Adam Lambert did. Don't. Just don't. Because he slayed everything. I don't give a fuck. The best thing that ever happened to him is that he didn't win this competition. But that's neither here nor there. But he slayed every song. You don't do, like, oh my god, let me think of another example. A Song for You, which Elliot immediately slayed. You don't do Heart, Alone by Heart. Carrie Underwood slayed it. You don't do 90% of the shit that David Cook did. You don't do that Chris Cornell version of Billie Jean. You don't do Hello by Lionel Richie. You just don't. Because they slayed them and it became like their shit. You don't do I Who Have Nothing that Jordan Sparks slayed, and love to see her out in the audience with Jason Derulo. So you just have to play that safe. Like, I would never do anything Kelly Clarkson did. You just don't. You don't do Solitaire by Neil Diamond or Barry Manilow or whoever sings that, because Clay Aiken slayed it. Like, I can come up with a million. People who didn't even, like, win, they have songs that they just killed, and you just don't do them. But I guess she wanted to prove her right. I don't know. I don't know if America's gonna, like, hope they stick by her. I mean, it's definitely way better than some other people. But just for me, it wasn't as good as either one of those performances. So I'll put those links for you so you can compare. But I gave her 4.5. I really did enjoy it. So that's it. We're at the end, and I mean, they didn't do too bad of a job of filling up the 2 hours. I mean, I could have done without the trios, but at least it wasn't filled up with Tommy Hilfiger. I like the way they did that. They put it at the beginning so that I could fast forward it. So my rankings for tonight surprised even me. Still can't believe it. I'm just so excited that I understand Philip now. You don't even know. I'm going to tweet him, and I'm going to apologize to Colton. I've probably been making him feel super uncomfortable for a whole week. Still love him though. So my rankings, number 1 spot going to Philip Phillips, who blew the roof off that joint. Number 2 is Joshua, 3 Skylar, 4 Colton, 5 Elise, 6 DeAndre, 7 Jessica, 8 Holly, and 9 Heejun. I don't think anyone did badly enough for Heejun to stay. So here is where I'm going to really start. I mean, I loved Erica, but we're to the point now where they stood up for like 5 people tonight, and like there is just no reason for him to still be here. Even when they played back the numbers, it's like it's light years difference from the next worst person, who tonight was Holly. It's still light years. So I don't know what America is doing. Really hope I don't have to have an angry video. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'll be able to watch it early, get it out early. we'll see. I didn't listen to what tomorrow will be bringing for us live performance-wise. I'm sure I'll fast forward them. And I don't know. Thanks for watching. I was impressed by the episode as a whole. I'm very happy. Maybe it was the boobs, which were originally for Colton, and now I know that he's probably like a virgin until he gets married, which is sad. He's not gonna want anything to do with my cougar stuff. So I'm gonna go apologize to him and get my ass to bed, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace. That was on the cat.